Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to our Minecraft Vanilla series. Today, for the second episode, I was doing some thinking, and I think what I would like to do, I'd like to get the mine started and some different things, but I think what I'd like to do for right now is I want to get some pens set up for like animals. I need a horse stable, I need a cow stable pen type area, I need, sheep pen slash area, pigs, chickens, stuff like that. I need to start getting onto those and maybe building the farms around those. So we might work a little bit on farms today, and we might work a bit on animals today. I think we'll be jumping around. I doubt we'll get all the pens built this episode, but that's what I'd like to start working on for this episode. So what I think I want to get started with is some kind of a horse barn where we can store horses and have more, just a large amount of horses and maybe a place for breeding them and stuff. It's kind of what I have in mind. So what I would like to do, let's go ahead. There'll be our house. Over there will be our mine. Alright, so what I have in mind is coming out a little ways behind our building here. And this, because I kind of want a lot of space, right, for where we're going to be growing crops and having animals. And I kind of want them all in sort of a dedicated place. And I will run the pathways over in this direction as well in just a little bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off by putting in our framing for this, I think. I think that should be the first thing that we do. And let's see. Let's come over to here, because I kind of want a decent sized horse stable because I want the ability to have a lot of different horses available to us. So we're going to say here, and then I'm going to put one here, about 11 out. I'm going to go ahead and just bring this up. We'll do a little bit of terrain flattening and whatnot, but we'll go here, and then I'm going to want to come over, let's do 4, and then we'll put another pillar there. And this will be basically one pen for the horse. So the horse pen will actually sit, I don't know if I want to go with birch or oak. We'll try them both out, but and see. But I'm thinking like the horse pen, there'll be a gate here. So whatever type we end up settling with. And then it'll come back. Let's see if we do 3. Yeah, I'm thinking like that, have it be basically 3 deep and 4 wide. And that way, it's enough that we could hold like 2 horses in it. A bit of space in here. And then we've got room to kind of walk between our pens. And then what I'll do is I'll just come out, another 4, place a pillar here. Another 4, place a pillar here. And after so far, I think one more segment. Place a pillar here. That's going to give us space for, 8 horses between both sides. Or possibly 16 horses. I don't know if I'll keep 2 in there. Maybe like a breeding pair. Probably just 1 horse in each one. It's kind of what I'm thinking. And so it'll come back this far, and I'll get some dirt and I'll clean this up. But then what I'd like to do is I would like to actually have it, and then the pillar would come out to here. And then what I'd like to do is have kind of a section that sticks up, not really like a tower, but a place that's got like a second story where maybe we'll use for storage or something. And at the bottom I'd like to have a breeding pen so I can take a couple horses into it, breed them, and they'll have kind of a dedicated space for breeding purposes. And then we're going to say that is going to run. And then what I'll do is, how many blocks was this? I think it was 11. Or it's 10 blocks. 10 blocks. Is that what I want to do, or do I want to shift it out? Okay, you know what? Actually, this, I placed it on the 11th block. It needs to be one more block out. So we're going to do that. I'll get an axe and clean this up, but and that's going to shift all this over. So there's actually going to be 3 spaces in between the pens to kind of move between them, and then that's going to shift this over. And then we're going to place another set, and we're going to come over to there. Yeah. And then what we'll do is we'll bring this out to here. 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 And then here. And that's going to give us another 8 stalls. Yeah, and then that's going to come out to there. And then our raised section is going to just line this up here to there. It's going to be this large square section that's kind of raised up. Not quite a tower or anything, but just maybe a second floor. Be a little bit taller and sit above these sections of the stalls. So give me a little bit. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of terrain flattening. I'm going to raise these pillars up, get the fences laid out, and maybe get the frame for the roof up, because it's pretty much just going to be another A-frame, I think. It may be a little bit more curved. This is like a straight A-frame that we built over here. But I may make this one be a little bit more curved to some degree, maybe at the top, so it almost has more of that kind of silo top shape. Be a little bit rounded off at the top. I don't know. I'm going to play around with it and see. Okay, I've been working and expanding on kind of what we started with, and this is what I've got so far. I went ahead and just put the roof on. It's actually very, very simple. So I brought all of our support beams that we placed out up 4 blocks, and then I did a cross beam that runs at that layer, and then 2 more up on these, and then over here you can see the roof starts after those 4 blocks for this. And these cross beams that run through the center are every other set, so I have a little bit of space just for a little bit of variety and just to have some places where the ceiling actually kind of opens up. And you can see I've actually brought our horse over. I also tamed a donkey that was running around out there, and then I got 3 horses from the plains over there. Now 2 of these are absolutely abysmal stats. For example, this one is the worst of the worst, but like look at this speed. No, not that one. I gotta finish landscaping the dirt around here, but maybe it was okay, yeah, it's this one. Like, look at the speed. Absolutely atrocious speed. Horrible stats. Absolutely horrible stats. It's just like it just chugs along. Now this one, I keep forgetting to take off my saddle. This one over here, its stats are actually pretty good. It's got good health, good jump, pretty decent speed, but I did pick up this one also. But I went ahead and grabbed all those, even though some of the speed, you know, the speed on that one is like atrocious. But I want like a variety of horses in here. But yeah, so moving on through, this is actually where the cupola is going to kind of come up at. Is right in here, and just kind of have this nice little open section right through here, and maybe store like hay and stuff in this area. I am wanting to set up a pen so that our horses can kind of get some exercise. We can let them out in a larger pen where they can run. And I'm planning on putting maybe some feed troughs in between these pens, like feed and water troughs, whenever we start decorating. Right now I've just got fences, but we are going to make these look a little bit nicer. Plus, I'd like to get rid of some of this grass and replace it with, you know, maybe some straw, and maybe replace it with some straw and some podzol, and, you know, just some other stuff, maybe some coarse dirt thrown in there. Of course, right now I don't have Silk Touch for podzol, but before long I'd like to kind of spruce these up once we get some Silk Touch going. And then over here, this is all set up exactly the same as over there. So as for the roof, I went ahead and threw this on. I mean, really all this building is just a frame with a roof thrown on top so far. Is really all it is. So just some basic framing, a roof, and then some fences with horses thrown in them. So that's why I went ahead and pushed on. Up here, this is how the roof is laid out. So it's just a combination of oak and dark oak, and then of course the beams are spruce and the fences are birch. And I think it looks pretty good so far. We still got a bit of work to do on it. We're gonna have to go to the nether before too long, just for glowstone. Like, that's all I really need from the nether is glowstone, but at the moment. But yeah, up here, kind of centered on this open section, is where we're going to have kind of a cupola that comes up a little ways, and that way we can kind of see it from a distance. And I think it's going to look pretty nice. And then where all these dark oak bits come up, I went ahead and double layered up the slabs here, so they set a little bit taller. And the way that the roof is laid out is, I started with a slab out here, and then it goes into stairs, and then slab, and then double slab on these ridges. And I think it turned out pretty good so far. We still have a bit of work to do. I got to get a bit of decorating going. I've got to get the this whole open section, the cupola built, and then get the stalls kind of cleaned up and everything. So I'm going to continue working on this, and I also want to set up a nice big like pen for them to run in. I should probably throw some torches down here. I want to set a nice big pen up for them to run in, and that's going to be pretty simple, just a big fenced in area, and maybe some like hurdles and things for them to jump. So if you want to practice with your horse, you'll have a little place to go out and practice in. But so anyways, I'm going to continue working on this. Once again, once we have replay mod in 1.16, we will be using replay mod, but for now I kind of just have to do cut build. Also, one thing I want to mention, I have decided, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do different build areas for different purposes. So this one, since we're kind of living in a plains area, we're going to go with a certain style of build, which is a lot of, wood and things for these builds. And we are going to be specializing this little town area for agriculture. By the way, I did find out that is Lyron's house over there, which we're going to be checking out some of our neighbors' bases and everything on camera before too long. But yeah, so I think this area we're going to specialize in agriculture. So we're going to have things like crop farms and animal farms and stuff in place. And the only automation that we'll be doing over here is probably like a sheep farm and maybe a chicken cooking little area, and maybe like a big cow grill and pig grill, something like that. And then if we automate crop farms, we'll automate them here. Though I don't know how much focus we'll even put on automation. If I get around to doing an auto sheep farm, I will. But I'm not in any big rush for it, in all honesty, because I'd rather build big areas where, maybe it's manual, but we can harvest everything we need in no time, as opposed to necessarily automation. But I'm just going to play it by ear. If we decide that we need automation, we'll do it. But generally, I'd rather things just look nice, and if I do any automation, it'll be hidden. And I really don't care too much for doing hidden builds. So, I don't know. We'll probably just focus on building. It's really not all that much effort. If I build a big sheep area, it's not much effort on my part to harvest up a lot of wool manually as opposed to automatically, in all truthfulness. So, but we'll see. But yeah, so I decided we're just going to have kind of specialized areas. So this one is going to be agriculture focused. And then we'll do one that's like wood cutting focused, like down the road, Right now I'm having to plan out little patches of my wood types in this area. So, but yeah, so I'm going to continue working on the build, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so I've got quite a bit done to this now. You can see that we do have a fence that kind of runs around this, and I'll show you kind of the size of this. It's actually a fairly large area. And I do kind of have the fronts fixed up on this side and on the other side. And you can see our cupola up there standing tall. And I did originally have like iron bars coming off those iron bars, so we kind of had like a weather vane. But I don't know, I didn't like it. It looked more like some kind of weird lightning rod to me. So I was like, I don't think I'm going to keep that. But So this is what I've got at the moment from the exterior, and then I'll take you on into the interior here in just a minute. I do have a fence coming out here because I think I'm going to fence this area in so we have like a decent sized outdoor fence. So maybe, the horses, we can move them out and put them in this exterior space. Maybe if we're cleaning stalls or something like that, and we don't want them to run freely through here. But this gives us a nice big space to allow them to run. And then over here, this is just temporary. I've got some cows and sheep put into here, and I'm gonna be moving these out before too long. Once we get cow and sheep pens, right? Now over here, and you can see kind of the space that this takes up. It's a fairly large space, and this took over 6,000 dirt to flatten. Over 6,000 dirt. It was a massive project. I actually have a space over the mountains where I have cleaned up dirt. Rather large space over there. And then I had some really awesome donations from Tyler and from Lyron of dirt. So they helped out a lot, like a ton, because they've been digging rivers and things like that. And so they donated some dirt. They were like, we don't need this. So they hooked me up with some dirt. I did give our 4 diamonds to Lyron, just kind of as like a thank you, for the dirt and stuff. I hated to take it for free, but... and then you can see I built a little pond over here from this space. And then our horses, we have these bred. I'm not really sure. Probably Tyler, if I had to guess. That's probably bred them. And then I've got a baby horse over here. And I know a couple of these horses are actually, let's see, one is Daddy Gaming's horse and one is Tyler's donkey. They're kind of using some of the stable space as well. Now in here, let me just take you into the stall. You can see the way that the troughs are set up. So we've got water and food over in this little space. They love to stand on top of these. That's the only bad thing about these troughs. They love to stand on them. But I'd rather have the troughs than no trough, Now over here, this is kind of a storage space. And you can see I've put some item frames up on these. So this one holds our armor. We only have gold because I've got my diamond armor on that horse. And oh, by the way, the upper area, I should show you that. So I've kind of shaped all this up a little bit. Basically just didn't want spots where it looked like the wood was sitting on top of the or sitting underneath the planks, just try to clean all that up. And then over here we've actually got trap doors to change up the texture, and a closer look at the front here. So, but yeah, I went ahead and made some lanterns. I actually forgot for a little while that they're just iron nuggets and a torch. For some reason I was thinking it was glowstone in the middle and not a torch. So I did get some of those crafted. I'm probably going to do something up here where the cupola is at. Maybe like a support that runs down or something from that. And then, yeah, so the storage, we've got our horse armor. We've got saddles, which I suddenly have a lot of. That's actually, Tyler has a villager thing he's been working on. And so he had a villager that was selling saddles, so he just bought a bunch of them and filled this up. Because it's kind of like a public use stables, as well as just like a horse breeding area. So over here we have some leather horse armor, and over here golden carrots and name tags apparently. Tyler put all these in here, so and these golden carrots that he threw at me. But yeah, so I need to put a little storage barrel for name tags. I actually have, I made a couple extra storage barrels because I knew I wanted name tags in one of them. And I guess he has a villager now selling name tags. So back in here, you can see I did put down a little bit of this type stuff on the ground, but I need to make some more hay bales and stuff. Daddy donated a stack of hay bales. I actually made a few more, about 30 or so far, something like that. But a big thank you to Daddy Gaming as well. A lot of the benefits of being able to play on a server is everybody can work on different projects, and then, we kind of have access to them. I know Daddy's going to be working on a Guardian farm before too long, which is fine by me. I built one not too long ago, actually, and I'm fine not building another Guardian farm right now. So he's going to be working on a Guardian farm, and I know Tyler and I think Daddy has a villager set up as well, and I know Tyler's been working on one of late. So let me go ahead and sleep. And then the cupola up a little bit closer is just like that. It's not overly difficult or fancy. But yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at right now. I've got to do a bit more decorating and some fine detail in here. You know, I said maybe I'm going to bring down some supports. I've got to do some more hay bales. Daddy Gaming did give me a Silk Touch book, which I may put on a pick. At the moment, it would probably be an iron pick, unless I go mining for diamonds. But I need to put down some podzol through here in spots, and maybe make some more hay and stuff. I think I've got to put some more hay over on these areas. These stalls. I don't think I got to these with hay. And then I've got to finish the fence area slightly. I kind of want to make a track that runs around this. I want to smooth out this area. Of course, we don't have any stairs, like dirt path stairs, but I'll use slabs of, like, you know, grass. I mean, wood or something like that for this area. So, but I do want to make kind of a track that looks like the horses have ran around, and I want to kind of finish this little fenced-in area, and then I'm going to put a little foal pen in somewhere where I'm probably going to have to use commands. Actually, I'm definitely going to have to use commands, but I want to put some foals in there and have it just be foals, like a little space where they can move around, probably in this little corner here. So just kind of fence this little area in, put some food and water in there for them, and have foals that have the command put on them so that they never grow up. Just because I'd really like to have small babies forever in that pen. So just for looks, really. And then our adult horses up through here. So that's what I need to work on, and then just small little bits of detail, maybe some areas with some jumps, like hurdles for the horses, some little things like that, to kind of finish this build off for now. So anyways, I'll be back in a bit. Okay, it has been a while, and I think I've gotten it to a pretty good spot. You can see over there we have this nice decorated out area. Now, originally, you know, I was talking about putting in like hurdles and things like that for the horses, but then I got to thinking, the big thing to bear in mind is this is not a modern day horse farm. This is not like a battle horse training or stunt horse training type place. This is just a standard village stable, like horse breeding stable, right? And so really, I don't think this kind of place would have hurdles, and especially not on the main kind of thoroughfare that runs around the stable. If anything, there might be a separate, you know, track with hurdles, but it's very unlikely that there would be hurdles that run through this area. So I opted not to do that, and I did. Originally, I had it a lot cleaner here, but once again, we don't have lawnmowers. We do have horses, I guess, to eat things, but I did a bit thinner grass in the fields where the horses would actually be grazing, and a little bit more nature kind of poking through in this area. I don't know, I'm a sucker for plants. Like, if I've got grass, if the grass looks like this, I hate it. I cannot stand it. I need plant life, and I need it to be vibrant. So I went with a kind of vibrant approach and made this all very, very vibrant. It took quite a while, but you can see, actually right down here, I haven't finished putting all the lights. I have to farm more pumpkins. I've been making jack-o'-lanterns and sticking them down in the ground. Originally I was thinking, well, we need glowstone, but guess what? We're going to do pumpkins down here, I think, as opposed to glowstone. Pretty much the same effect, and neither of them really look good if you sit and stare at them. So I think it's going to work out okay. As we go through here, we'll go around the edges. I did plant some trees, and I put out some general clutter out here. A couple water barrels to collect water. We've got a crate over here that's made of a composter and a spruce slab. As we come along, I was actually breaking this up, with like coarse dirt and things like that. But I decided that I did not like it. I didn't like the way it turned out. So I went with just a smooth track. And I imagine this area would be used enough, there'd be enough like foot traffic, horse traffic going through here, that it should be flattened down pretty well, I think. So I opted to go with that. And I did kind of a miscellaneous mix of flowers from all over. So we've got some tulips, we've got cornflowers, we've got roses and lilacs and different things throughout this area. And there's a few places where lanterns are hanging in the trees. Not super dense as far as like foliage, and not super dense as far as grass. It's kind of mid density, I think. I think this place would be pretty vibrant, so there'd be a lot of like grass growing and things in places, especially a place like this, I think, where the grass is kind of more encouraged to grow. I believe. I don't think that they would bother really cutting down any grass so as to allow the horses and things to graze through this area. So out here is actually the area where the horses would be commonly grazing, being let out and kind of be able to be outside out of their stables. So you'll notice that the grass through here is a lot less dense. And there's more just kind of bits of coarse dirt and path blocks and things like that, where the horses have really kind of been eating on this area and chewing it down. A little bit of hay thrown out here for them, and of course they've got this pond here to drink from. So I think that works out pretty well for this area. Now over here, I've got some more hay bales tossed out, as well as kind of a crate and another water barrel to collect water. I heard a spider probably down below us. Over here, this is going to be our foal pen. I've got to figure out which command I need to run and start breeding foals so that I can force them to be babies forever. And that's what's going to populate this pen that's over here. And you'll notice that this area is a little bit more sparse on grass as well. Not overly big in this area. I did get the cows and stuff moved out just to the other side of the fence for now until we get their actual areas done. Now, let's see. Over here, of course, this will exit out. And there will be a pathway that goes around, like the long way around the stables, which we'll be implementing before too long. If we go up this way, right now there's nothing over in there. I may end up adding something or just kind of leaving it a little bit more wild like that. I don't know. I'm a sucker for the wild landscapes and stuff. Unless I'm building, like, say, in a desert, or I'm building something that's like a city, I'm going to have this wild landscape. Because I tend to build medieval, and they don't have lawn mowers or worry too much about grass in untrodden areas, really. And then over here we have the other side of the stables that run about on this side. We do have a nice big hay pile that would be maybe in the process of being moved into the actual storage area or something. A little chest over here. Probably going to store hay bales in it. I don't know. We're going to be building a big farmland area possibly in the next episode. But we'll see what next episode holds. I haven't totally decided what we're going to be working on. But back in here, this has changed ever so slightly through here, but really not too much until we get to the actual storage room. I mean, you will see some spots where coarse dirt has been placed down. I will say that there's probably going to be some more coarse dirt, some more podzol out through here, maybe some more hay bales. I'll probably add things. Also banners. I am going to be adding some banners, like a variety of banners. Oh, what happened up there? Yeah, I'm going to assume that a fire got started up here. Like lightning hit it. Honestly, I may set fire tick off for the server because of that. I hate fire tick. Because it means lightning can just come in and just wreck everything. And especially when you spend a lot of time working on a build, you really don't want fire to be able to just mess everything up without constant maintenance. Endermen are bad enough, to be honest. Anyways, if we go on through here and we take a look, you can see that I have added some coarse dirt. I've kind of made this a little bit more open and more heavily trodden through this area. You can see a stack of crates back here that maybe contain, you know, saddles and supplies and things like that that we would use here. And you can see this right here just kind of as a support. I played around with some support ideas, but I think I'd like just that central pillar that runs up and supports this section. I mean, it's got wood all around it. I think a small support would be fine for this middle section, and kind of adds a nice little interesting bit that kind of comes down there. And if we continue on, of course, this leads us outside. Now, just for example, because I found myself doing this a lot while I was building this, just to get a feel for the pathways and things and get them to where I was happy with them. But if we take our horse out, and maybe we'll pop into third person mode, but you can see that this is kind of what it's like. Actually, it might even be better to pop back into first person mode. I find it very, very difficult to control this in third person. But yeah, so that's the work thus far. And I mean, I think it's fairly done. The main things that need to be added right now, I'm going to add some banners once we have more sheep set up, like colored sheep and not just all white sheep. I'm going to get that in place. I'm also going to continue adding the rest of the jack-o'-lanterns, but this is just basically getting lighting in so that zombies don't spawn and creepers and things like that, at least within the area inside this fence, because I'd like to mob-proof it just because I hate creepers. And then I would like to toss in some podzol. Of course, I got a Silk Touch book thanks to Daddy Gaming, but I don't really have a proper pick at the moment that I'd want to put it on. So, but we will add some podzol in, and then, I don't know, maybe some odd and end other stuff. And I think it looks pretty spiffy. I do have to bring kind of this look and this feel out of there and kind of bringing it around to the front of the house and start working in the roads and things like that. Here pretty soon we are going to build just a number of buildings in this town just to make it feel a lot more alive. I don't know that we'll do too much with the interiors on them. As far as decorating, we might, but at the same time I end up spending a day or two just decorating interiors, and I don't know, we'll see. But I'd like to just add a bunch of houses and things like that. It might be something that I come back in later and kind of decorate. I do want to do that here pretty soon just to make the place feel a lot more lively, but I think next episode we're going to be working on continued farm work, either adding in our sheep area or start adding in the big farm so we have access to lots of wheat, lots of carrots, lots of potatoes, lots of all that stuff. Because of course, once again, this is going to be an agriculture focused town. So I do want to kind of focus on that a bit at the start. So, but anyways, I'm going to end out this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Really, really good news, big news. Replay mod for 1.16.1 is now out. At the time of recording the outro, so I will be getting that downloaded, and then so that means hopefully next episode we will be able to use replay mod, which I love. I know I've mentioned in the past, I love using replay mod for 1.14 and up in comparison to 1.12. I hate using it in 1.12 because you cannot pause. In the later versions you can pause mid recording. And so if I stop to think about something, it's a little bit easier to use replay mod to where you can, you can record an entire replay, bit in one go instead of it taking multiple goes if you have to go get a drink or whatever. It's just a whole lot more fun and useful to use, I think. So very, very excited for that. And so hopefully that will be up and running for next episode. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.